In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet step by step the Little Ollie Baby Overalls. They're very easy to make. I hope you like them. Now, these little overalls, Shortalls, or baby romper is for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months, but you can easily make them smaller or bigger, from a newborn size and up to 2 to 3 year size. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make them smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, make sure to comment below and let me know if you want me to make matching baby booties or perhaps a matching little hat to complete the set. I'll gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment and like the tutorial. Now, to make these baby overalls, this is the yarn that I used. This is DK weight yarn, but you can also use any 8-ply or number 3 weight yarn. For the 3 to 6 month size, I used a total of 195 grams, which is about 447 yards or about 410 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. You will also need 2 buttons. These are 16 millimeter size. Again, depending on the size that you make, you may need smaller size or bigger size buttons. Now, for this beautiful baby girl version, I used Premier Dottie number 3 weight yarn. I used 130 grams for the 3 to 6 month size. If you want to make the little strawberry, in the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you a link to a tutorial in my channel where I show how to make them. And remember, at the end of the tutorial, I always leave you the finished measurements, and you can always find gauge information in the information box below. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. Thanks so much for watching. To begin, I'll be using this 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and today I'm using DK weight yarn. You can also use any number 3 or 8-ply. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn we're going to need for the size that we're making here in this tutorial. So here to begin, I have my chain ready. I have 56 chains. Now, this chain, without stretching, it's measuring about 30.5 centimeters, which is about 12 inches. The first thing that we're going to make is the leg. I already did the first leg, so I'm going to show you here how you're going to make the legs. You're going to make 2. So like I said, I have 56 chains. We're going to join to the first chain, so make sure that your chain is not twisted. Now insert your hook into this first chain, and we're going to join in the round. So grab a loop here and make a slip stitch. To begin, I'm going to chain 1. Beginning into this first stitch, which is the first chain that we joined into, I'm going to make a half double crochet. The chain at the beginning will not count. Now, for the remaining chains, I'm going to go through the back of the chain, and I'm going to go into this stitch right here. So just insert your hook into the back of the chain, go through this stitch right there, and make your half double crochet. I'm doing this because I want this part to be nice and pretty, just like this. You can go through one of the loops instead if you like this, where you just go through one of the loops. That would be fine too. I just like the way that this here looks when you go through the back of the chain instead. So you go through this little bump right there and make your half double crochets like this. I'm going to do this for each chain so that at the end of this first row for the leg, I have 56 half double crochets. So continue making these half double crochets all around. I will meet you at the end of this first row. I finished row 1. I have a total of 56 half double crochets. To finish, go on top of the first half double crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now for rows 2 and 3, we're going to chain 1. Beginning around the post of the first half double crochet, which is the same stitch we joined into, start with a front post half double crochet. Into the next, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, front post half double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this for this second row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 2. I did front post and back post half double crochets. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 2. I have 56 half double crochets. Now for row 3, same thing. Chain 1 and beginning around the post of the first stitch, make a front post half double crochet. Into the next, a back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue, finish the third row, I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 3. We did front post and back post half double crochets. I have 56 stitches. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now this part here is done. This here, now we're going to continue with the rest of the leg, and we're going to do a total of 5 rows. So this would be row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here to begin row 4, chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, double crochet on top of the next, and so on. Continue like this for row 4. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 4. I have 56 double crochets. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet, not the chains, and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 4. Now for rows 5, 6, 7, and 8, we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to chain 2, and beginning on top of the first stitch, which is the same stitch that we joined into, make a double crochet on top of the next stitch, double crochet on top of the next, and so on. To finish the row, you're going to go here to the beginning, join with a slip stitch on top of the first stitch, then chain 2, and then repeat the same thing up to row 8. We're going to do this to complete the leg, and then you're going to do the exact same thing for the second leg. Here for the first leg, you can cut your yarn. Make sure that you leave a long tail for the first leg. For the second leg, don't cut your yarn. This is my first leg, so I cut the yarn there, and this is the second one. So go ahead and finish both legs exactly in the same way how we did the first leg, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished the second leg. Here at the end of row 8, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, and this second leg is done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing for your second leg. This is the second leg for me. So here's the first leg. When I did the first leg, I just joined to the beginning, made a slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop. Make sure that when you make the first leg, you leave a nice long tail. I left a short tail here, but it's going to work for me. Just make sure that you leave a longer tail than I have here, because what we're going to do after we finish the legs is we're going to join the crutch flap that I'm going to work on this second leg. So I'll show you that shortly. So make sure that you do the same thing. So here, to make the flap that's going to be between the legs, I'm going to chain 2. The 2 chains do not count. Beginning on top of this first stitch, make a double crochet into the next. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 double crochets now. For row 2 of the flap, chain 2 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and a double crochet into each stitch, so that here you have 5 double crochets for this second row of the flap. There. Now what we're going to do is we're going to join with the first leg. Here's the first leg. This is where we joined. We cut your yarn, left a long tail. So right into this first stitch here, I'm going to insert the hook, and I'm going to grab a loop and join with a slip stitch. Now we're joined. Here's the flap in the center here of the crutch. This is going to now be the back of the little overalls, and this is going to be the front. Now we're going to continue around this first leg. So here we're going to chain 2. Beginning into this same stitch that we joined into, make a double crochet into the next stitch, and so on all around until you come here to the end. 5 stitches before we finish. So I'll meet you right here, 5 stitches before we finish, to show you how we're going to join this flap and then continue with the second leg. I'm here at this other end of row 1 of the body. This is where we're joining the legs, and we did the crutch here between the legs. So now up to here I have a total of 51 double crochets. I have 5 stitches left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to do anything with these stitches because once we finish, we're going to join these 5 stitches with this flap that we did here for the crutch. So we're just going to join this part like this. I'll show you at the end of the tutorial with this tail that we left here from the first leg. So now to join with the second leg, I'm going to go into the first double crochet of the second row, insert your hook there and make a double crochet. Now we're joined. So here at the end of the second row of the flap, make 2 double crochets. At the end of the first row of the flap, make 2 double crochets as well. And now we have the first double crochet for the leg. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work a double crochet into this same stitch where row 1 of the flap was worked. So make a double crochet there. So for this section here, for the middle of the crutch area, I have 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to continue and work a double crochet on top of each one of these stitches all around until we come here to this other side of the leg. So this is the back. So I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to work these rows here of the flap and then finish row 1 of the body. I'm here at this other end of the second leg. Now up to here I have a total of 108 double crochets. We're almost done with this first row of the body where we have joined the legs with the crutch here. Now here for this leg we did 51 stitches, and then we did 6 stitches here for the front of the crutch, and then we continue here around the second leg. For the second leg I had 51 stitches as well, so 51 plus 51 plus 6, that's a total of 108 stitches up to here. This is the last stitch of the second leg. Now we have the flap that we worked, so here we're going to make 6 double crochets as well. So yarn over, insert your hook into this stitch here right before row 1. I think that's the slip stitch there, and make a double crochet. Now at the end of row 1 of this flap, make 2 double crochets. At the end of the next row of the flap, make 2 double crochets. And now make a double crochet into this stitch right here so that there's no gap right there. Make a double crochet. So here I have 6 double crochets. I had 108, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 1 with a total of 114 stitches. And this is how it looks. Now, once we finish, there's a gap here right in the center. So all you're going to do is you're going to, with a yarn needle, you're going to join these 5 stitches. There's 5 double crochets here for this flap, and then there's 5 double crochets here that we left for the leg. I'll show you that at the end of the tutorial. So this is how it looks. Now, to continue from now on, I want to continue right in the center of the back of the overalls. So I'm going to work 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. So to do this, I'm going to turn, do not chain or anything, just turn. I'm going to work a slip stitch into the next double crochet, but only go through 1 loop, the front loop of the stitch, and make a slip stitch. That's 1. Same thing into the next double crochet, that's 2, and same thing into the third. There. Now chain 2 and turn. Beginning into this first stitch, make a double crochet. A double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next. So here I have 3 double crochets. The 2 chains never count. Now you're just going to continue all around and work 1 double crochet for each stitch. And this is how it looks. So from here on, we're going to start each row right in the center of the crutch. So go ahead and finish the second row. I will meet you here at the end to show you once again how to finish each row and how to start each row from here on, since you're going to continue on your own and work the rest of the body. I'm at the end of the second row. In this row, I did double crochets all around, and I have a total of 114 stitches. To finish each row from here on, you're going to go here to the beginning. On top of the first double crochet, join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 2. Now, to start each row from here on, you always chain 2. Remember that 2 chains never count. And beginning on top of the first stitch, which is the same stitch that you joined into, make your first double crochet, then a double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how you're going to continue all around. To finish, you're going to go here to the beginning, join with a slip stitch, chain 2, and then repeat the same thing for each row. And at the end of each row, you're always going to have 114 stitches. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here for the body, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows we're going to do. So continue and I'll meet you at the end of that row. I have done a total of 11 rows. From here up to here, there's 11 rows. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, I placed some stitch markers here for the front because I plan to make 2 pockets. So for row 12, this is what we're going to do. I started row 12. So for row 12, you're going to make 32 double crochets, which I have here. From here to here, there's 32 double crochets. Now, I have my first stitch marker. So between this stitch marker and the next, I have 17 stitches. And here I'm going to work front post and back post double crochets. So beginning into this next stitch, this is stitch number 33. Start with a front post double crochet, back post double crochet into the next. That's 2. 17. Here's the first pocket. I have 17 stitches here where I did front post and back post double crochets. Now, in the center here, I have 16 stitches, so I'm going to make 1 double crochet on top of each one of these stitches. So that's 1, 16 double crochets, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now for the next 17 stitches, we're going to do the same thing here, front post and back post double crochets, and this is for the second pocket. So, and starting with the next stitch here, make a front post double crochet, that's 1, 17. Here's the second pocket, 17 stitches. Now here you should be left with 32 stitches, and same thing. We're going to make 1 double crochet here on top of each one, just like we did the first 32 stitches. Continue, finish row 12. I'll meet you here at the end. I'm here at the end of row 12. To finish the row, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 12. Now at the end of this row, I have a total of 114 stitches. Now for row 13, we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to chain 2 and beginning on top of the first stitch here, make a double crochet on top of the next, and so on until you have 32 stitches here for this back side. So you're going to make 32 stitches, and then for the next 17 stitches, which is the pocket here, you're going to work these stitches exactly how they are. You're going to start with a front post double crochet, back post front, back post, and so on until you work these 17 stitches for the pocket. After that, you're going to continue and work 1 double crochet on top of each one of these stitches. Here for this section, I have 16. So you're going to make 16 double crochets here. And then for the second pocket, same thing. Front post, back post, front post, back post, double crochets. This section here has 17. And then you're going to continue and finish with these last 32 stitches. That's how you're going to work row 13. So go ahead and finish this row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 13. At the end here, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch. Now we're going to leave this here for now. What we're going to do next are the pockets. So we're going to go here to the front. If you notice, I have placed some stitch markers. So what you're going to do is for the left pocket, we're going to count down 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then place a stitch marker so that it matches the first front post stitch here. So here's the front post, and then go down. Double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and then place a stitch marker. So here are 9 rows. Now across, you're going to count 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Make sure that this stitch here matches with this stitch right here. So front post, double, 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 double. Perfect. So this pocket is going to have 9 rows with 17 stitches across. And same thing for the second one. Go down 9 rows, place a stitch marker, then go across 17 stitches. So 17 and then 9 rows. We're going to do the pockets in this way with this number of stitches and number of rows. So to do the pocket, make sure that your overalls are facing you and fold down to this row right here. Fold it. I have stitch markers here to help me. And here is row 9, counting from the top here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This 9th row, we're going to start from right to left. So we're going to go this way. So here, we're going to pick up these stitches that you see right here. I have 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is the back loop of each one of these double crochets of the 9th row when you count from the top down. It's this little bump right here. So we're going to pick up these stitches here. This little bumps that you see right there. So let me show you. This is going to be for the left pocket. So insert your hook right here into this double crochet that you marked from the front side. Now here, make sure that you leave a nice long tail because we're going to need this to seam the side of the pocket once it's done. You're going to grab a loop here and bring it through, chain 2, and right into this same stitch, make a double crochet. Now, you're going to go into the next stitch right here, that little bar. This is the back loop of that next double crochet, and make a double crochet. I'm going to call this row 1 of the pocket. This is where we're picking up these stitches. So I'm going to go into each one of these stitches until I have 17. The 2 chains do not count. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Now for row 2 up to row 9, you're going to chain 2 and turn. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet, then work a double crochet on top of each one of these stitches, and you're going to have 17 double crochets. Here's the last double crochet. The 2 chains do not count. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. For row 3, chain 2, turn, and repeat the same thing up to row 9. So continue, finish this pocket, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished the first pocket. I did 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this part here is done. Now we're going to go here to the right side and we're going to do the exact same thing for the second pocket. And same thing, you're going to fold down to row 9, counting from the top down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is row 9. I have marked the stitches here, the back loop of each one of these double crochets. There's 17 here. So starting from the right side, we're going to work from the right towards the left. And same thing, you're going to grab a loop here. Make sure you leave a nice long tail because you're going to use this to close one side of the pocket. Here, I forgot to mention when I cut my yarn for the first pocket, here at the end, I just cut my yarn, pass my yarn through this last loop. Make sure you leave a nice long tail because we're going to use this to sew and close this side of the pocket. For this other side, we left a long tail here on this side at the bottom. So here you're going to do the same thing, make a loop, making sure to leave a nice long tail here to seam this side of the pocket. And now you're going to chain 2 and make a double crochet into this first stitch. Now pick up each one of these stitches. Again, this is the back loop of each one of these double crochets, like this, across until you have 17. There, we have 17 stitches. The 2 chains do not count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Now for rows 2 through 9, chain 2, turn, beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet and a double crochet on top of each stitch. And that's how you're going to continue for the rest here. Finish the second pocket and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished row 9 of the second pocket. Now here, cut your yarn, leave a long tail, and pass your yarn through this last loop. There. Now we're going to resume the body. So we're going to go here to the back side. The pockets are done. Now for row 14, chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet, and then work a double crochet on top of each one of these next 32 stitches. I will meet you right about here to show you how we're going to attach the pockets and then continue with the front and finish row 14. So go ahead and work these 32 stitches and I'll meet you right here. I finished making these 32 double crochets. Now I have the next 17 stitches for the front of the pocket and I have 17 stitches for the back of the pocket. We're going to attach the pockets in the following way. We're going to make 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches, making sure to go through the front and the back of the pocket. So into this next stitch, which is the first front post stitch, and through the first double crochet of the back of the pocket, make a double crochet and a double crochet into the next stitch as well, making sure to go through the next stitch here and the second double crochet from the back of the pocket. There, with these 2 double crochets, the pocket is attached. Now we're going to continue with the back. And into the next 13 stitches, make 1 double crochet. So that's 1, 13. Now I have 2 stitches left here. Same thing. Here we're going to attach these last 2 stitches of the front with the last 2 stitches of the back. So here into this next stitch, this is the front, so this would be stitch number 16. Insert your hook through there and make a double crochet and a double crochet into the last stitch here. And the pocket has been attached, and that's what it looks like. Now we're going to continue for the front. Here I have 16 stitches, so make 1 double crochet into each one of these stitches. That's 2, 16. There, 16 double crochets for the front. Now I have the second pocket, same thing. I have the next 17 stitches for the front of the pocket and 17 stitches for the back of the pocket. So here we're going to go into the next stitch, the first stitch of the 17 for the front, and through the first stitch here for the back. Make a double crochet into the first and a double crochet into the next stitch as well. Now we're going to continue with the back pocket. So here make 13 double crochets. That's 1, 13. I have the next 2 stitches, align them with the front of the pocket with the last 2 stitches here of the 17 and make a double crochet where you go through both loops into the next 2 stitches. There, and the pocket is attached. Now we're going to continue and work 1 double crochet for each one of these 32 double crochets. So continue, finish row 14. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 14. Here for row 14, we joined the front and the back of the pockets. I have a total of 114 stitches at the end of row 14. Now for row 15, you need to place 2 stitch markers. From the beginning here, count 28 stitches, and then into the next stitch, stitch number 29, place a stitch marker right on top. Do the same thing here for this side. Count 28 stitches, and in the next stitch, place a stitch marker. We're going to decrease here 2 stitches on this side and 2 stitches on this side. So to do this for row 15, you're going to chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next stitch, and continue until you have 26 stitches. I will meet you right here 2 stitches before the stitch marker to show you what we need to do next. I did these 26 double crochets. Now I have the next 5 stitches. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have the next 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Here I'm going to work a double crochet two together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. This stitch here counts as 1 stitch. Now on top of the next stitch where I have the stitch marker, make a double crochet. Now over the next 2 double crochets, same thing, double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the decrease. I have decreased 2 stitches. Now here for the front, there's 52 stitches, so you're going to just work a double crochet on top of each one of these stitches until you come here 2 stitches before the stitch marker. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to decrease here on this other side. I did 52 stitches for the front. Now I have 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Here we're going to make a double crochet two together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now on top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and into the next 2 stitches, same thing, double crochet two together. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now we're going to continue with the rest here. Here you should be left with 26 stitches, so continue. I'll meet you here at the end of row 15. I finished row 15. Here at the end, I just joined to the beginning. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 110 stitches. We decreased 2 stitches on this side and 2 stitches on this side. Now for row 16, we're going to chain 2, and beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Double crochet on top of the next, and so on, all around. So continue like this, finish row 16, I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 16. All we did for this row is double crochets all around. I have a total of 110 stitches. Now for row 17, we're going to decrease. So here, place a stitch marker in stitch number 28. So you're going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. So place a stitch marker on top of stitch number 28, and then do the same thing here for this side. So here for row 17, you're going to chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue until you have 25 double crochets. I will meet you right here 2 stitches before the stitch marker to show you what we need to do next. I did 25 double crochets. Now I have 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Here we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. On top of the next stitch, make a double crochet into the next 2 double crochets. Again, make a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now for the front here, we're going to make 50 double crochets. So 1 double crochet on top of each one of these stitches until you come here to this other side. I'll meet you here 2 stitches before the stitch marker to show you what we need to do next. I made these 50 stitches for the front. I'm right here 2 stitches before the stitch marker. So here we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. On top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and over the next 2, same thing, double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now we're going to continue and work a double crochet into the remaining stitches here. You should have 25. So continue, finish row 17. I will meet you at the end. I finished row 17. In this row, we decreased 2 stitches on this side and 2 stitches on this side. So at the end of row 17, I have a total of 106 stitches. Now for row 18, we're going to chain 2. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next stitch, double crochet on top of the next, and so on. For this row, we're just going to work double crochets all around. I'll meet you at the end of row 18. I finished row 18. At the end of this row, I have a total of 106 stitches. All we did for this row is work double crochets all around. Now for row 19, we're going to decrease in the same way that we did these last 2 rows of decreases. So here you're going to count 27 stitches and then place a stitch marker on top of the 27th stitch. Same thing for this side. Count 27 stitches and on top of the 27th stitch, place a stitch marker. So here to begin row 19, chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, and so on until you come here, 2 stitches before the stitch marker, which is 24 stitches. So we'll meet you right here to show you how we're going to work these decreases along this side. I did these 24 double crochets. Now over the next 5 stitches, this is what we're going to do. We're going to double crochet 2 together into the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now on top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and into the next 2, double crochet 2 together. 3 loops, close. Now we're going to continue for the front. Here we're going to make 48 double crochets. So continue, make these 48 double crochets for the front. I will meet you right here 2 stitches before the stitch marker to show you what we need to do next. Did 48 stitches here for the front. I'm right here 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Here we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. On top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and over the next 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together. Here you should be left with 24 stitches. So continue, finish row 19. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 19. To finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now at the end of this row, you should have a total of 102 stitches. We decreased 2 stitches here on this side and 2 stitches here on the other side. So that's a total of 102 stitches at the end of row 19. Now for row 20, chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, and so on, all around, so that at the end of row 20 you have 102 double crochets. Continue, finish row 20. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 20. At the end of row 20, I have a total of 102 double crochets. Now for row 21, we're going to decrease. So you're going to count here 26 stitches and then place a stitch marker on top of the 26th stitch. Same thing for this side. Count 26 stitches and then place a stitch marker on top of the 26th stitch. So here for row 21, we're going to chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next stitch until you have 23 stitches, which is 2 stitches before the stitch marker. So I will meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. I did 23 double crochets. Now into the next 2 double crochets, we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, yarn over, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. On top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and over the next 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together. Now for the front, we're going to make 46 stitches. So beginning into the next stitch, make a double crochet on top of the next, and continue until you have 46 stitches, which is 2 stitches before the stitch marker. I will meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. I did 46 double crochets for the front. Now I have 2 stitches before the stitch marker. Here we're going to double crochet 2 together, so yarn over, insert your hook, take 2 loops off, yarn over, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. On top of the next stitch, make a double crochet, and then double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. There. Now here we're left with 23 double crochets, so continue, finish row 21. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 21. At the end of row 21, I have a total of 98 stitches. We decreased 2 stitches on this side and 2 stitches on the other side. So that's a total of 98 stitches at the end of row 21. Now for row 22, chain 2, and beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Double crochet on top of the next, double crochet on top of the next, and so on. For this row, this is all we're going to do, just double crochets all around. At the end of row 22, you should have a total of 98 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 22. At the end of this row, I have 98 stitches. For this row, all I did was just make double crochets all around. Now we're going to work on the front of the overalls. So we're going to start on the bib. So to do this, we need to divide here the total number of stitches that we have. For me, I have 98 stitches. So 98 divided by 2, that's 49. So I have 49 stitches for the back and 49 stitches for the front. So I placed a stitch marker here to mark the 49 stitches here for the front and the 49 stitches for the back. So to do this, we're going to start here on this side and we're going to go here. This is where I have the stitch marker, so we're going to skip 1 stitch and into the next, insert your hook and grab a loop. Make sure to skip 1 stitch there. Now chain 2. In this row, I'm going to make front post and back post double crochets, and for each row, we're always going to decrease a stitch at the beginning and at the end, no matter what side we're on, because we're going to now have to turn for each row. So I'm going to decrease 2 stitches at the end of each row. So this will be row 1 of the bib. So to begin here, chain 2, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet, but do not close this double crochet. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the next stitch, and work a front post double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. And here's the decrease. Now, into the next stitch, work a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this, alternating between a front post and a back post double crochet across the front, 3 stitches before the stitch marker. So I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to finish row 1 of the bib. I'm here at the end of row 1. I have 3 stitches before the stitch marker. Now over the next 2 stitches, we're going to decrease. So here, this last stitch here is a back post. Into the next stitch, I'm going to work a front post double crochet, but I'm not going to close it. I'm just going to take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, yarn over again, and then on top of the last stitch, insert your hook and make a double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. And here's the decrease. At the end of row 1, I have a total of 45 stitches. Now for row 2, chain 2 and turn. Now here at the beginning, we're going to decrease a stitch and at the end of the row. So yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the decrease. Now make a double crochet on top of each stitch until you come to the last 2 stitches. At the end of the row, we're going to decrease as well. So continue. I will meet you here 2 stitches before we finish to show you how we're going to finish row 2. I'm here at the end of the second row. I have the last 2 stitches. Here we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here is the second row. At the end of this row, you should have 43 stitches. Now for row 3, chain 2 and turn. Now row 2 is the same as row 1. So here we're going to decrease at the beginning. So yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the next stitch and work a front post double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. And here's the decrease. Now into the next stitch, work a back post double crochet into the next front post double crochet, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this, alternating between a front post and a back post double crochet across up to the last 2 stitches. I will meet you here at the end of row 3 to show you how we're going to finish this row. I'm here at the end of the third row. I have the last 3 stitches. Now here at the end, I need to make a decrease, and I also need to finish the row with a front post double crochet. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the next stitch, and make a front post double crochet, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, make a double crochet, where you close through these 3 loops. There. And this is how I finish row 3. At the end of this row, you should have 41 double crochets. Now for row 4, chain 2 and turn. Now we're going to decrease here at the beginning, so yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the decrease. Now make a double crochet on top of each stitch across until you come to the last 2 stitches. I will meet you there to show you how we're going to finish row 4. I'm here at the end of row 4. I have the last 2 stitches. Here at the end, we're going to double crochet 2 together. There. At the end of row 4, you should have 39 stitches. Now for row 5, chain 2 and turn. So here for row 5, we're going to make a double crochet on top of the first stitch, but do not close this. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, around the post of the next stitch, work a front post double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. Now around the post of the next stitch, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how you're going to continue across row 5 up to the last 2 stitches. I will meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish row 5. I'm here at the end of row 5. I have the last 2 stitches. Now here at the end, around the post of the next stitch, make a front post double crochet, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here's row 5. At the end of row 5, you should have a total of 37 stitches. Now for row 6, chain 2 and turn. Here at the beginning, we're going to double crochet 2 together, so yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now work a double crochet on top of each stitch until you come to the last 2 stitches. So continue, and I'll meet you at the end of row 6. I'm here at the end of row 6. Here at the end, double crochet 2 together. And here's row 6. At the end of this row, you should have 35 stitches. Now chain 2 and turn for row 7. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, around the post of the next stitch, make a front post double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. Now into the next stitch, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this across. I will meet you here 2 stitches before we finish to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 7. I have the last 2 stitches. Now into the next stitch, make a front post double crochet, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, and make a double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. And here is row 7. At the end of this row, you should have 33 double crochets. Now for row 8, chain 2 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet but do not close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the double crochet together. Now work a double crochet on top of each stitch across row 8 up to the last 2 stitches. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to finish row 8. I'm here at the end of row 8. I have the last 2 stitches, so here at the end, double crochet together. And here is row 8. At the end of this row, you should have 31 stitches. Now for row 9, chain 2 and turn. Here we're going to decrease, so to do this, on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, around the post of the next stitch, make a front post double crochet where you close through these 3 loops. Into the next stitch, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this to the end of row 9. I will meet you here 2 stitches before we finish to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 9. I have the last 2 stitches. Now into the next stitch, make a front post double crochet, but do not close it. Leave 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here is row 9. At the end of this row, I have 29 stitches. We're not going to decrease anymore, so for row 10, just chain 2 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and a double crochet on top of each stitch so that at the end of row 10 you have 29 stitches. Continue, finish row 10, I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 10, I have 29 double crochets. Now for row 11, chain 2 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Now into the next stitch, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, front post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue like this to the end of this row. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 11. Here at the end on top of the last stitch, make a double crochet. And here is row 11 with 29 stitches. Now I'm not going to make any more rows. Here what I'm going to do is you can either cut your yarn, pass your yarn through this last loop, and continue with the straps. For the straps, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use a different ball of yarn. So here I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm going to leave the yarn here like this so that when we finish the straps, we're going to continue along the edge here from the wrong side, making half double crochets, and then we're going to continue down this part and up the straps and so on. So for now, go ahead and just either cut your yarn or leave the yarn here and start the back side with another ball of yarn, and that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go here to the back side. Here I have placed 2 stitch markers, so we're going to count from this stitch marker here that I placed to mark the side here of the overalls. We're going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and into the next space place a stitch marker. From this side, count 11 again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, place a stitch marker. In between the stitch markers, I have 27 stitches. So this is going to be for the back side. So to begin here, insert your hook on top of this first stitch on the right side. So make sure that you insert your hook here on the right side. Now bring a loop through, chain one, and now we're going to work a front post double crochet around the post of this first stitch. Now into the next, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on across these 27 stitches. So I will meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish row 1 of the back side. I finished row 1. I have 27 stitches. Now be careful here. If you see the 2 chains, do not do anything with the 2 chains. You just simply skip the 2 chains and go into the double crochet. Now for row 2, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and a double crochet on top of each one of these stitches, so that at the end of row 2 you have 27 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished row 2. I have 27 double crochets. Now for row 3, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Now working around the post of the next stitch, the second double crochet, make a back post double crochet, into the next, a front post double crochet, back post double crochet into the next, and so on. Continue, finish row 3. I'll meet you at the end. I finished row 3. Here at the end, on top of the last stitch, I did a double crochet. Now I have 27 stitches here at the end of this third row. In the next row, we're going to separate and start the straps. So I'm going to work on this strap first. So here I have marked 11 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Then I placed a stitch marker, and between this stitch marker and the next, I have 5 stitches, and here at the end I have 11 stitches for the second strap. So here, let me show you how we're going to work the straps. To begin, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and a double crochet on top of each stitch. Here I'm going to only work into these 11 stitches. And this is going to be row 1. I'm going to start counting rows. That way I can tell you exactly how many rows I'm going to make for each strap. There, I have 11 double crochets. This is row 1. For row 2, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Now into the next stitch, which is the second stitch here, work a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post double crochet into the next, and so on up to the last stitch. On top of the last stitch, we're going to finish with a double crochet. Here's the last stitch. On top of the last stitch, make a double crochet. And here is the second row with 11 stitches. Now for row 3, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and 1 double crochet on top of each stitch. I have 11 double crochets at the end of this third row. Now for row 4, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first stitch here, make a double crochet. Now a back post double crochet into the next, front post double crochet into the next, and so on. Here's the last stitch. Make a double crochet on top. And this is how I finished the 4th row. I have 11 stitches. Now for row 5, chain 1 and turn. Now for row 5, I'm going to decrease a stitch at the beginning and at the end. So here at the beginning, we're going to double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. This stitch here counts as 1 stitch. Now I'm going to make a double crochet on top of the next. That's 1, 7. Now into the next 2, I'm going to double crochet 2 together. Insert your hook on top of the next stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook on top of the last stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here is row 5. At the end of this row, you should have 9 stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This stitch here that has 2 legs counts as 1 stitch. Now for row 6, chain 1 and turn. Now beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. And into the next stitch, which is the second stitch here, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, and on top of the last stitch, make a double crochet. And here is row 6. I have 9 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Now for row 7, chain 1 and turn. Now I'm going to decrease again here at the beginning and at the end. So we're going to double crochet 2 together. Yarn over, insert your hook on top of the first stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops, yarn over, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now make a double crochet across, that's 1, 5. I have the last 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together, yarn over, take 2 loops off, yarn over, on top of the last stitch, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. And here is row 7. I have 7 stitches at the end of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now for row 8, chain 1 and turn. We're not going to decrease anymore. I'm going to continue with the 7 stitches. So here we're going to repeat row 8 and 9. So for row 8, you start with a double crochet on top of the first stitch, and then into the next stitch, which is the second stitch here, make a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post, front post, back post, and on top of the last stitch, make a double crochet. And here's row 8. I have 7 stitches. We have 2, 4, 6, 7. Now for row 9, chain 1, turn, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet and 1 double crochet on top of each stitch. Now on top of the last stitch here, make a double crochet. There, I have 7 stitches. We have 2, 4, 6, 7. Now for row 10, chain 1, turn. In this row, we're going to work the row of front post stitches. So you always start with a double crochet on top, and then a back post double crochet, front post double crochet into the next, back post, front post, back post, and on top of the last stitch a double crochet. And this is how you're going to continue for the strap. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do. I think I'm almost done. I only need to make a couple more rows. I want this to fold so that it looks kind of like this. So continue like this, repeating these 2 rows, the row of back post and front post stitches, chain 1, turn, and then the row of double crochets. And also continue watching. I will let you know how many rows we're going to do here for the strap, so I'll meet you at the end of that row. Finish the strap. I did a total of 22 rows here. From here we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 rows. Now this part it's measuring from row 1 up to row 22. It's measuring about 9 inches, which is about 23 centimeters. If you want to make it longer or shorter, that's fine. You can adjust the length. That would be up to you. Now we're going to make the second strap, so we're going to go here. I'm going to start the second strap and then you're going to continue on your own since it's done exactly in the same way how we did the first one. So here to begin, we're going to start from the wrong side. So we're going to go on top of the first stitch here. Make sure that you have 11 stitches here. Grab a loop and bring it through, chain 1. Now, on top of this first stitch, make a double crochet on top of each stitch. Here's the last stitch, make a double crochet. And here's row 1, I have 11 double crochets. Now for row 2, chain 1 and turn, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a double crochet. Now into the next stitch around the post, make a back post double crochet, and then a front post double crochet. Here's the last stitch, make a double crochet on top. I have 11 stitches for this second row. Now for row 3 and on, just repeat the same thing we did with the first strap. Beginning on top of the first stitch, you make a double crochet and 1 double crochet for each stitch. After you finish this, you're going to chain 1, turn, and then work row 4 with front post stitches, just like I did row 2. And the rest is the same, exactly how we worked the first strap. Here's the strap. You're going to do these 4 rows with no decreases. For row 5, you're going to decrease 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 stitch at the end, so you're going to be left with 9 stitches. And then for row 6, you're going to work front post stitches, also with 9 stitches. For row 7, you're going to decrease 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 at the end, and you're going to be left with 7 stitches, and then continue with front post double, and at the end of each one of these rows, you're going to have 7 stitches. So go ahead, finish the second strap, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished the second strap. I did it exactly in the same way how I did the first one. It's done exactly in the same way. So this part here is done. Now we're going to go here to the front. We have the bib and we have the straps. This here is going to look like this once it's done. There. Now I did not make any buttonholes here in the last row that I did here for the bib, and that is because the spaces in between the rows of front post and back post double crochets are big enough for buttons to fit through. See, these buttons that I'm going to use are 16 millimeter size or 5/8 of an inch. Depending on the size that you make, you may need smaller size or bigger size buttons. So make sure that whatever buttons you're using, they easily fit through that space between the double crochets, the front post and back post double crochets, which is what I'm going to do, and you can easily go on this row here or the next here at the bottom. That would be up to you. However you want to add this, that's fine. The buttons are going to go here on the straps we're going to attach them right here. You can adjust the length here of the straps. You can attach the button here, and as the baby grows, you can always adjust it by going up or down. So here we're going to now continue all around from the wrong side, and we're going to make half double crochet. So here, when I finished the bib, I did not cut my yarn. If you cut your yarn, then just turn here to the wrong side, pull a loop through, chain one, and then make half double crochets for this part here. I did not cut my yarn, so I'm just going to continue here by chaining one and then turn. Now, beginning on top of the first stitch, make a half double crochet, a half double crochet on top of the next, half double crochet on top of the next, and so on. Here you should have 29 half double crochets for the top of the bib. So continue. I will meet you here at this other end to show you how we're going to work the sides here, and then we're going to go up this side of the strap, in the center, down the strap, and so on. So I'll show you that next. I made these half double crochets across the front of the bib. I have 29. Now we're going to continue along the edge here of the bib, and then here in the center, and then up the first strap. So to do this, I'm going to chain one, and beginning into this last row that I did, right there, insert your hook and make a half double crochet. Now along the edge here, we either have the 2 chains and a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. So to do this here, the next row here at the end, I have 2 chains. So into this space here, make a half double crochet. At the end of the next row, there's a double crochet, make 2 half double crochets. At the end of the next, make 1. At the end of the next, here, this is a double crochet two together, so just insert your hook there at the end and make 2. At the end of the next, 1. At the end of the next, 2. And so on until you come here to the bottom. Here's the first row, so here there's 2 chains, so make 1 there at the end. Now for this part, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 half double crochets along the edge here of the bib. Now I'm going to make a half double crochet here into this corner stitch where I started row 1 of the bib. So right into this same stitch here, make a half double crochet. So that makes it 18. So 18 half double crochets. Now we have this next section. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches. So here we're going to work a back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet, and so on. This is how we're going to work these 12 stitches. Now, after the stitch marker in this space here, I'm going to make a half double crochet so that I can now continue along the side here of the first strap. Now, for the strap here, you either have a double crochet at the end or 1 chain. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and so on. So here I'm going to work 2 half double crochets. And then at the end of the next row, there's a chain there, make 1. 2 at the end of the next, then 1, 2, 1, and so on. Okay, here's the last row. And this is how it looks. Now let me see if I can count the stitches. So after the stitch marker, I did 1 here in the space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 half double crochets along the side here of the first strap. Make sure that whatever number of stitches you have here, you make the same here on this other side of the strap. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. The important thing here is that it looks nice to you. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. Now to continue here along the front of the strap, I'm just going to work a half double crochet on top of the first stitch, a half double crochet on top of the next, and so on, so that you have 7 half double crochets here. Let's see, that looks fine. Now we're going to continue along this side and make sure to have about the same number of half double crochets. So from here up to here, that would be the number of stitches that you need to make. And same thing here. You just make a half double crochet here at the end of the last one that you did, and here along the edge you have the chain 1 and then the double crochet at the end. So you make 1 and then at the end of the next row make 2 and so on. I think you get the idea of how this is going to be worked. So you're just going to continue here. Now here in the center, in the middle of the straps, we have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just make 1 half double crochet for each stitch and then continue up this second strap in the middle and then work your way down. And then here you're going to work these stitches exactly how we did this part here. For this part, you're going to do the same thing. Back post front, back front, back front, back front, back front, and then back, because the next stitch here is a front. And then you're going to continue up the side of the bib. So continue, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you the finished overalls and give you the finished measurements. I finished the half double crochet edging that I did here at the top. I just joined to the first stitch with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, passed my yarn through this last loop, and this part here is done. Now turn the overalls to the wrong side. I'm going to show you how to seam the pockets. Now for the pockets, we left a tail end here at the bottom and a tail end here at the top. So I'm going to show you this part here. It's the same for the second pocket. So here I'm going to start with the top one and I'm going to work my way down. So with the yarn needle here, I'm going to seam the pocket here along the edge. And we're going to try to go row by row. So the yarn is up here. When you do this other end, you're going to start here at the bottom, but it's the same. So here we're going to go at the bottom of the double crochet rows. You just insert your needle there into that stitch. There. Then go to the bottom of the next row and go to the bottom of the next row. And there's a little stitch right there. You're just going to insert the needle through that, go to the bottom of the next row. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. This is how I'm going to do it. You can do it any other way. There, this part is done. Just tie a little knot here and hide your ends. Let's see how this looks. Let's see, that looks pretty good. This is where we did that stitch between the stitches at the bottom. Now you're going to repeat the same thing for this side and for the second pocket. So this part here is done. Now let me show you how we're going to close the gap here in the crotch area. Remember, we left a tail in here. I accidentally cut mine a little too short. Hopefully you cut yours a little bit longer. So I'm going to try my best here to show you how to join. So here we have these stitches for the leg, 1 2 3 4 5, and then 1 2 3 4 5. So all you're going to do is just try to go on top of this double crochet and on top of the next double crochet into the next and into the next here through both loops. Here's that double crochet, go into this same space here, and the last stitch. Let's see. So this here is the middle, so I'm going to go into this stitch and this one. And try to bring this stitch closer. And just tie a knot here. Let's see how this looks. This is the wrong side. Let's see the right side. Yes, perfect. That looks pretty good. I like how that looks. Maybe do another little stitch up here to join this stitch, and it's done. Now here I'm just going to attach these buttons to the straps. I'm going to probably go right here. Yes, right here. And what I like to do is just tie them. Let me show you that as well. Here with a piece of yarn, pass the yarn through the holes here of the button. Now I'm going to tie it to this stitch right there in the center. And all you do here is just tie the button. I'm going to do this here. I like to make a double knot. Pull it tight. Make another double knot. And that button is secured. It's not going to come off. Now all you need to do is just hide your end. And this here is done. Now remember, we did not make any buttonholes because the spaces in between the rows are big enough for buttons to fit through. So I'm going to pass mine through this hole right there, and I'm going to repeat the same for the other one. And that's how it looks. So I'll go ahead and hide all my ends, and then I'll come back and give you the finished measurements and show you the finished baby overalls. Here's the finished overalls. This is how it looks. This is the front. This is the back side and the bottom. Here's the crotch area. That's where we closed. And the buttons with the cute little pockets. So now let me give you the finished measurements. The total length from the top of the strap down to the end of the leg, it's measuring about 17.5 inches, which is about 44 centimeters. Now the leg length, this measurement here, it's measuring about 3 inches, which is about 7.5 centimeters. The leg width, just the top, it's about 6 inches, which is about 15 centimeters. Now, the hip measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 12 inches, which is about 30.5 centimeters. And the chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 10.5 inches, which is about 26.5 centimeters. Now, this measurement from the top of the bib to the center here of the crotch, it's measuring about 32 centimeters, which is about 12.5 inches. So based on these measurements, these little overalls is for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months. Now, you can easily make it smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 12 to 24 months. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. Now, as far as yarn, for the 3 to 6 month size, I used a total of 195 grams of DK weight yarn, which is about 447 yards or about 410 meters. Depending on the size that you make, you may need less or more. You will also need 2 buttons. These are 16 millimeter size or 5/8 of an inch. Depending on the size that you make, you may need smaller size or bigger size buttons as well. Now, make sure to comment below and let me know if you want me to make matching booties or a matching little hat. I'll gladly go ahead and do that, but make sure to comment and like the video. Thanks so much for watching.